This is Stratholme Main Gate as Mistweaver Monk. I'm not an expert at this game, this is not a dungeon guide, this represents my personal experience with a random dungeon group. So other half of Stratholme here. A lot of quests here, man, 5. That's a lot more than usual. People are going, again, 0 time to read quests, just pick them up and go. Got a different warrior tank this time, another panda. Also a warrior. And 2 more. What is that empty resource bar there? Is that... hold on. What am I seeing here? Ashling, what are you? Warrior's the only one I can think of. You know, rage starts at 0 and builds up as you fight. So I see a warlock and a shaman. Okay, so it's the shaman? No, what am I seeing here? Why is your mana bar empty, Ashling? I'm confused. Also level 58, I think, right now? Yeah, 58. Getting pretty close to 60. Not a lot of classic dungeons left. So right, let me talk about right at the end of this process. So everything in the dungeon finder, when I queue up for it, it has a level range. Basically, like, you're allowed to queue for a certain dungeon from this level to this level. Trying to get my quest stuff done so I don't have to think about it too much. Okay, interesting. So elemental shamans now have a resource bar that builds up from 0 and... Huh. Man, I gotta play a shaman. I just don't understand how they work these days, apparently. Don't even know what the resource is called, that cloudy blue stuff. Right, yeah, so level 58. I'm really trying to hit up every classic dungeon before I fall out of the level range where I can queue for them. All of them max out at 60. So once you hit level 61, you completely lose access to the dungeon finder for classic dungeons. And as I understand it, there's no way to time walk to them. There's some kind of group scaling thing you can do if you're like a higher level and you group with a level sync, I think they called it. A group with a lower level player who wants to queue for them, but I don't know how it works. I don't really have anybody to group with for that sort of thing. I'm just playing pretty much on my own. So relying on dungeon finder mechanisms for this. Anyway, so that means that I need to get Lower Blackrock Spire done, and this dungeon. This one and Lower Blackrock Spire were the last 2 classic dungeons I needed to do before I wasn't eligible for them anymore. So this one was no problem, this was easy to queue for. Lower Blackrock Spire was a little bit more of a problem, but I'll talk about that when we get to it. I did get it done, eventually. I was pretty close to going and doing the thing that halts experience gain, just to make sure I could get in before I accidentally hit 61. Didn't end up doing that. That's a not short stun. Oh hey! This tank is from Duratan. That is my old server. The one where I play Alliance. I'm not gonna say what server this character's on, just because, you know, I don't want people somehow finding this video and then going and looking for me to do stuff. I prefer a little bit of distance from things like that. But I can reveal that my Alliance characters are on Duratan, because I pretty much don't play them anymore. Okay, so this has that kind of trap in it, too. It's both Stratholmes. And this time I wasn't ready for it, and I got locked out. This could be a little more of a problem. Hopefully those gates open soon. I took a Stoneskin Brew. Fortifying Brew, that's what it's called. Fortifying Brew, not Stoneskin. It turns me gray, so I wanna call it Stoneskin. So yeah, Fortifying Brew I think just decreases damage by 30% for like 10 seconds or something. It's not bad, it's not amazing, but it's, you know, a good button to press when you know you're gonna take damage. This game has a lot of servers, so I don't see people from any specific one very often. They're all spread out. It used to be that only people from your own server would show up in major cities and stuff. Nowadays, those are bonded together with other servers. Like, I see people from... there's like a whole server group that mine is a part of, apparently. And I see people from the other servers in the group wandering around in the world. It's kind of weird. Like, it used to matter to be on the same server or not, because you just couldn't really do stuff together if you were around different ones. I don't even know how that works these days. Like, can you... There were these rules about cross-server trading. Like, you couldn't trade certain items. Like, only dungeon items that dropped in that dungeon were eligible or something? I forget how it was. Nowadays, I assume you can just do it? But I don't know. Again, trading between players is not something I really do. Just feels like if you can see them in the world, other than in weird cases like cross-server Dungeon Finder runs, surely you could hand them something. Surely you could invite them to a group, right? Maybe not, though. I just don't know. Like, yeah, little changes like that make a pretty big impact on the social structure of this game. Oh, we fought a boss? I didn't notice. I guess we did. Because I saw one dead on the map. I was thinking about servers and stuff. Ooh, that's bad. You want to dispel that. Okay, that's just a sleep. I thought it was charmed or something. It took me a while to do anything about that, man. I can see what this warrior is doing, and it's not the right thing. That's just a whole bunch of whirlwinds. So he's a fury warrior. I happen to know a few things about playing a fury warrior. Unless you're in a group of like 20 things or something. I don't know what the threshold is, but it's a lot more than 3. You don't want to just be hitting whirlwind, 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 usually. Because what whirlwind does... You know, I should talk about this when I actually play a fury warrior. Anyway. I'm judging his playstyle from here. I say that, but I did the same thing while I was figuring out how to play Fury Warrior. I know better now, but I didn't always. Anyway, yeah, so Whirlwind is a not very strong multi-target hitting attack that has no cooldown on it, so you can just do it over and over. But it's not very strong, and it gives your other attacks an automatic cleave. So if you Whirlwind, then Bloodthirst, or... what are those other ones called? I don't know. Other attack. That attack will hit multiple targets much harder than an additional Whirlwind will. So that's why you don't just want to keep on hitting the Whirlwind button. As I currently understand it, at least. Man, everything in here looks kind of the same. Isn't this like exactly the scene when you walk up on the place where... what's his name? Baron Rivendare or whatever is in... service entrance? I mean, it's the same city, I guess, so that makes sense. Stratholme is Stratholme. It's also bleak and unpleasant. Not really a nice place to spend time in. And we'll get to see more of it later. We're not done with this city yet. Whoa. I'm getting knocked back by something. Don't know what was doing that. It's still doing it, whatever it is. So yeah, this group's pretty good. Zero complaints about what's going on here. Going at a good pace, not too fast, not too slow. Nobody's causing any trouble. Nobody's being rude. Nobody's really saying anything at all. Just the way I like it. Everybody's there for the same thing. And we're just gonna get it done as efficiently as we can. Scarlet Bastion, yeah, so now this turns into Scarlet Monastery, sort of. Scarlet Monastery is not even in the same zone as Stratholme out in the world. It's weird how similar they are. Still getting knocked down, that's really annoying. There's kind of a lot of chaos going on, but I see that health bars are pretty full, so it's not too worrisome. I am having to pay attention here, though. Like, if I stopped paying attention for a moment, things would go wrong. Again, just the way I like it. Please give me something to do during this dungeon. Some of my least favorite runs are when everybody's really overgeared and nobody ever takes any damage, and I'm just kind of along for the ride as like a subpar damage dealer. That is not the role I like to play. I mean, damage dealer role is fine, but you know, not in a healer specialization. In one run that I didn't show, somebody somehow managed to come into the dungeon in a damage dealer role as a holy priest, which was interesting. That didn't end up being usable footage, unfortunately, so we won't see it, but it was, or actually, maybe it did, I don't remember. I guess we'll find out. I know which dungeon it was. It was Lower Blackrock Spire. I had 2 runs there. One got about 2/3 of the way through and then failed. Then the next one succeeded, so obviously that's the one I'm going to show. I'm not sure which of the 2 runs was the one with the Holy Priest in the damage roll, though. Holy is a healer spec, by the way. Priest's the only class with 2 healer specializations. You gotta be Shadow if you want to be damage. Back in Cataclysm when I played a priest, I could not stand Holy. I tried it a little bit and just hated everything about it. Really liked Discipline though. Nowadays I've taken a brief little look at them and it feels kind of the opposite. Discipline looks weird and maybe hard to play now. Seems like it doesn't get a lot of direct healing spells. You gotta do your heals indirectly. Maybe I would like it, but I don't know. Gonna try both, and Shadow, of course, when I get around to leveling a priest. Don't know when that'll be. Someday. So I guess probably what's gonna happen with this particular series of videos. Definitely plan right now to attempt to get every dungeon available in the game done as a healer role. Mostly Mistweaver, but I've missed a few, so I'll have to fill them in as like Holy Paladin or something else. Restoration Shaman, Druid, Paladin, or I already said that, Priest, whatever. And probably most or all of them as tank. And then I'll be recording when I'm playing as a damage dealer, or like same role, different class, but probably only bother showing the ones that have something notable and interesting about them. Because there will be a much larger difference between different roles than different classes in the same role in the same dungeon. At this point, I still don't have any other character other than my Fury Warrior who I'm taking to dungeons at the moment. This monk has reached the maximum level, and when I play this game now, my days playing it are spent earning reputation with the factions that will let me unlock allied races, because those are the ones that I want to create my next characters in. It's fine. I don't have any complaints about that process. It's maybe a little bit longer a process than I'd like it to be. Still got a few max level only dungeons that I have yet to do with her, but there's no hurry. My buffer of videos is still very large. I would not run out. Like, if I just completely set this game down and didn't play a single minute of it for the next 2 months, I could still be uploading these at the same schedule without running out. But then after 2 months, I'd probably run out. So got a healthy backlog. I do want it that way, because like I was saying, once I get around to doing second run as different roles, different classes, I certainly won't be showing every dungeon. I'm not showing every individual dungeon when there are duplicates here, just the best run of each particular dungeon. But like, even for, you know, there will be less to show the next time around, basically. This Scarlet Bastion place kind of goes on for a while. I think I can see on the minimap that we're approaching the end of it. I see a quest turn-in point, and a couple of highlights for unfinished quests. That's probably final boss chamber in there coming up. Dreadlord Balnazar. Okay, that's the dude, I guess. All those whirlwinds. Yeah. There they are again. It's his favorite button. Everything's fine. I know I would do it differently, so I'm very much noticing. 73 Grizzly trophies. Still a way to go. So there's this one weird little side chamber over here. You gotta interact with it to do some quest stuff. We're fighting a boss, apparently. He's a fiery one. This is not the last dude, but he's standing right across from him. Man, the whole time you're playing this game, just big flashy effects are just swooshing across the screen non-stop. Everything stands out, therefore nothing does. Just kind of blurs together into a big mash of swirly colors. I tell what's going on more by the state of my action bar and my party's health bars and the nameplates up on screen. So like the center of the screen where the actual rendered scene is, I don't pay nearly as much attention to that as the stuff surrounding it. Because that's not where the most important information is. Except when you see your character standing in something bad and you need to move. That is the time to be paying attention to that. How did I manage to hardcast Enveloping Mist there? By this time I'm pretty sure I know better, so that definitely wasn't on purpose, right? I wouldn't imagine it was. Something I figured out more recently was that, okay, so Enveloping Mist has just like a normal cast time, you know, like a second and a half or whatever. Oh hey, Classic Dungeon Master. I didn't understand how I had gotten that achievement. It was confusing because this character has not been through Lower Blackrock Spire at this point. And that is part of that achievement. Achievements are account-wide now, sort of. But you can still earn individual ones on each character, even if your account already has it. So I think there might have been some interplay between, like, another character on my account already having been through Lower Blackrock Spire, and, like, this character getting the last, No, I mean, I don't have a good explanation for this. I don't know why I was awarded that achievement right there. I still have a quest that I haven't finished here. It has something to do with something in this room. And I need to figure that out before I leave. Everybody else has already figured it out. It's this painting. So you take the painting off the wall and give it to this dude here, I guess. Okay, great. So right, one final classic dungeon to go. I'll see you next time for that.